What's up, guys? Iron Books here for the last part and sort of an overview of the Lions of Al-Rassan review. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit differently, mostly because I don't want to make this a long-ass video, is that I'm not going to spoil or talk about the ending last 20% of the book. I do want to talk about my overall views, though. So, Guy Gabriel Kay's The Lions of Al-Rassan. What did I think about the last 20%? Overall, there are some really nasty parts in it, of which, as you guys know so far throughout this entire book review, that I really didn't like. Some surprising things did happen. One character we thought was going to die didn't actually die due to one of the other characters being so good at their craft. You could probably guess who is who. And then we get a big duel at the end. How was the action during that duel? Guy Gabriel Kay, he kind of hits and misses whenever it comes to action scenes. Some action scenes he does amazing. Then other action scenes, it's And so we get a duel. Again, I won't say who is who. Most because I want to leave the last 20% up to your imagination. And also to give you a little bit of a... Give you guys a little bit of a... What do you call it? A little bit of an itch to find out what happens. And essentially this duel kind of sets up the last little story for our characters. Jahane, Alvar, Amar, every other character. And what did I think about it? The ending was surprisingly satisfying. And I don't really know how else Guy Gabriel Kay could have ended this. Because there is one thing that I'll say, which was kind of a major downside to the last 20%. It felt slightly rushed to me. I don't know if it's just the nature of time jumps in this particular book. In this last 20% section, there's a lot of time jumps. And there's a huge time jump at the end. And I don't know if I particularly like that. And also, Guy Gabriel Kay, as I said, some twists he does pretty damn well, some twists he doesn't do too well. He does two twists really damn well at the end of this book. And it actually took me for a loop. Because for specifically the duel, again, I won't say who was fighting who, you're kind of led to believe that one character died. But then you find out later on in the last chapter or two that the other character died. And it kind of, it hits hard, right? Guy Gabriel Kay, he can definitely hit hard with his twists. And especially the last one at the end, where, I will say this, so a little bit of a spoiler. Alvar ends up with someone. But who, I won't say. And throughout the last chapter, and epilogue, you're led to believe that it's one character, but then it becomes another character. And that twist really hit me hard. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that really surprised me. And yeah, it was... I don't really know what to say, guys. The ending was interesting, surprisingly satisfying. All our characters kind of get somewhat of a happy ending. Or a happily ever after, kind of. But I still don't know what Guy Gabriel Kay was really trying to say throughout this book. Honestly, the big thing that I got throughout this entire book, the thing that I took away the most throughout this entire book, was kind of the hypocrisy of religion. That was kind of the thing that took me full-blown force. Almost every single conflict in this story is due to someone's religious views deeming other people or deeming certain things as either right or wrong. And because of this, basically committing atrocities in their wake. That was the thing that hit me the most when thinking about this book. Whenever I think about this book, the big thing that pops into my mind in terms of the themes and the thought-provokingness, a bit of too to ramble there, is the hypocrisy of religion. That was the big thing for me. And so when it comes to that, it hit me right on the mark. I mean, I already knew that religion was incredibly hypocritical. I mean, kind of everybody is. I'm even hypocritical in some sense, right? Everybody is in some sense. But I know for sure that religion is hypocritical. And that was the big thing that I got throughout this story, was that religion is very much an excuse for people to basically take over other people and to enslave other people and do horrific things to other people simply because it is your right or your God said so, right? That was the thing I took away from this story. And it was kind of a bittersweet ending too, because a certain group of people, I won't tell you which side, if it was Jedites or Asherites, took over the entire region of Al-Rassan. And it was sort of bittersweet, because you know that a lot of innocent people died for the selfish reason of bringing all of Esperana, all of Al-Rassan, into one country. A lot of people died just because someone wanted to do an update on a map, basically. And I don't know how I feel about that. It just makes me feel ultra shitty about our own world, because these sort of things are happening all the time. And it just makes me feel shitty. This book made me feel shitty, like a bit of a bad outlook on life. And I don't particularly like that. I want books that will give me a better outlook on life, so to speak. And I'm sure there was some message in here that talks about the better outlooks of life. I do see it every now and then that that Guy Gabriel Kay is trying to hint something in terms of a better outlook on life. But to me, all of the other horrific stuff and all of the other political and religious stuff in this book kind of just says the opposite. People have their own agendas, right? They do things because they deem it right. And it just sucks, you know? It sucks that a lot of people, especially in this book, a whole country, a whole peninsula, basically, is completely devastated due to someone having a particular viewpoint. What can I say to that? You know? What can I say to that? And yeah, that was my overall thoughts. I'll give you guys my notes and I'll give you guys the rating. because I did rate this book. And even though I gave a lot of negatives, the ending was very satisfying and also well written. The ending had probably the greatest prose out of the entire book. It's still not better prose than Green Creek novels, in my opinion. Sorry to the ramble, but I think I was hyped up too much when people have talked to me about the prose in this book. It didn't impress me that much. The ending chapter and epilogue impressed me, but beyond that, I mean, the prose seemed alright to me. I know people will kind of give me a bit of a... It's a bit of a hot take that I have in terms of the prose, but that's just what I feel. In my opinion, TJ Klune has better prose. That's definitely a hot take that a lot of people will take to heart, so to speak. And Frank Herbert. Frank Herbert doesn't have the best prose, but he has amazing dialogue. And I will say this, the dialogue of the Lions of Al-Rassan is really good. When people speak or have their internal dialogues, those parts are good, but they're not amazing. I still think that, like, specifically Chapter House of Dune, the last book of Dune, has amazing prose and dialogue. And in my personal opinion, the prose in Dune Chapter House was better than Al-Rassan's prose. Definitely a bit of a hot take there. But the prose in Chapter House of Dune hit me harder than Guy Gavriel Kay's. I don't know why. Maybe it was because this was a fantasy book that only really had one fantastical thing in it, which was Diego having future sight. That was based off of a historical era, right? Clearly based off of Spain during the times where Islam and Christianity was fighting over the region. Clearly. And webs. And I think maybe because of this bit of a historical lens that it goes through, kind of made me not like it that much. After reading this book, I definitely would say that I don't like historical fiction, because this definitely gave me the vibe of historical fiction, and I just did not like it. Just did not like it, dude. And yeah, I'm definitely not gonna read much historical fiction. Sorry guys, there's a web. And this made me not like historical fiction even more, which is kind of funny because I gave it a good score. My rating, I'll try to not keep you guys for longer, is a 3.75 out of 5. Really good. Not amazing like the 4s are, and not fucking incredible like a 5-star would be, but it's really good. Honestly, I think the best rating is the plot for me. The plot had me invested in terms of the big scenery of things, right? I think that was the best thing. The characters were the worst in my opinion. That was the worst category. Thought-provokingness probably after that. What else? There's also prose and world building. Prose after that, and then world building is probably the second best. And then plot is probably the best for me. The plot was very cool, to say the least. And it's kind of weird giving all these negatives for technically a really good review, a really good rating. And I'm not going to change it. I've been debating whether or not to bring it down to a 3.5 or 3.25. But like I said, the ending was very good. And the ending hit me harder than the entirety of the book in terms of me feeling good. And I think that's what matters to me the most. And so because of that, I gave it a 3.75, and I'm not going to change it. Maybe if I ever re-listen to the audiobook, I'll never reread this book. I'm not one to reread, guys, I'll tell you that much. If I ever revisit a book, it's always going to be through audio, never through physical reading again, because physical reading takes so long for me personally, due to me not being able to keep my attention span that well, and also being busy with school and work. And so because of that, I'll never revisit a book through a physical reading again. Like, I've technically reread The House of the Cerulean Sea, but it was through audiobook. I've re-listened to the audiobook a couple times already. I re-listened to You Mean the Nightmare Painter a couple times already. And Do Messiah a couple times already. Anyways, guys, let me go along with my notes. So, a 3.75 out of 5. Here are my notes. Sad, horrific scenes. Great dialogue. Interesting religious topics. Okay fight scenes. Ooh, fucking bug. And didn't really like the characters. That pretty much sums it up for me, guys. So, overall, a good experience. I would say, would I have rather not read this book at all? I do think it was good for me to read this book. Just so that I can shit on other people's opinions. Just kidding. But, I think it was good to read this. Good to read something that I wasn't as comfortable with, right? A lot of uncomfortable topics in this book. And I think that's a good thing. So yeah, guys. That's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. This was Iron Books. And I'll see y'all next time.